Now, you refer to emails in the plural.
Yes, Chairperson.
Where you landed eventually was just this one incident of you using another member's laptop. So where are the emails, plural,
Chairperson.
that are provided
Chairperson.
to the media?
Sorry.
Yes.
It's when you pause, I think you're finished, man.
Where are the
If I may
emails?
give you context, sorry, Chairperson, it's not, I don't mean to interrupt your speech. As you pause, I think you're finished. Maybe to assist me, if you can switch your mic off so I can see the light go off, and then I'll know when to speak. Before you came in front of the entire country again.
I'm a very obedient person. I will take the instructions.
No, Chairperson, it's a suggestion. So just to clear up the confusion between you and I about the emails, that interview you just played, prior to that, the parliamentary spokesperson was telling the country that I was lying when I spoke about the speaker's increase, the secretary's increase, and the email I sent to the PKTT. He said it's highly unlikely, and I quote, that we sent those emails. Those are the emails I'm referring to, Chairperson. Those emails have nothing to do with my laptop. That was me, I need to stop waving. That was me responding to Parliament that I was lying when I said we'd sent emails to Parliament, we can't even get a response, but Parliament can respond to my laptop apparently not being defective. That was the context of the emails, Chairperson.
So the short point then is basically that there's no proof, at least in accordance with that clip. I'm not talking about what you may have said elsewhere and whatever engagements you may have had with the technicians and so on. So that clip is by no means suggesting that there's proof provided to the media that your laptop was malfunctioning. Yes.
Except for the transcript that I took from Madlanga, Chairperson, which in my layman's view constituted evidence until your juristic mind gave me another viewpoint.
What transcript are you referring to?
The transcript from the ad hoc where Honorable Nola and I are engaging regarding the malfunction of my laptop on that said day.
No. I'm referring to the interview. So during the interview and the clip that was played, so there we should not take any reference to proof, to be proof that between October 2025 until 3 months ago, your laptop was malfunctioning. So the proof referred to by you, which proof you said you had given to the media, had nothing to do with proving that from October 2025 until 3 months ago, your laptop was malfunctioning.
Yes, Chairperson.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, there is, now that you've addressed those issues, Mr. Adams has submitted 2 statements. One is the main statement, which is in file 1, and then there is another statement, which is a 1-pager. It's called a supplementary statement, which was probably not necessary, but it was submitted nonetheless. And that would be in file 4, Chair. Now, Chair, insofar as the first statement is concerned, there are annexures to that. We're still trying to figure out what the correct annexures are. You would have seen that there's been a back and forth regarding the annexures, and the statement also doesn't speak to the annexures. So where Mr. Adams refers to FAA 1, it doesn't correspond with the annexures that he has provided. But we will address that with him again during the tea adjournment. Chair, you will forgive me if I don't recall if you had sworn Mr. Adams in.
I did, thank you, I
Thank
did.
you, Chair. So, Mr. Adams, if I could just ask you in file 1, if you have file 1, it should be your witness statement, and that is page 1264.
Yes, Advocate.
And if you can confirm that that is your signature on page 64.
64.
Which becomes a very important aspect of your evidence today, of course, is your signature. Can you confirm that?
Yes, Advocate, it is mine.
That is your signature. And you confirm the correctness of the statement?
I do.
Okay. and the truthfulness thereof.
I do.
Okay. Then you have another statement, but we'll get to that later because I'm not sure that it is a statement that you said we necessarily have to address. It's just you adding annexures to it. Okay. Now, Chair, Mr. Adams had advised me just before we commenced proceedings that he had received documentation, which he says he received them late, and as a result of that, he had a conversation with his attorney, and his attorney had advised him that he should seek a postponement of his evidence in order for him to consult with his attorney regarding those documents. We did have a discussion with him regarding the documentation that he's referring to, which we say is not our documents from the Commission, it's his own documents, which he provided to us late, and we therefore collated and submitted to him, which he received late. I don't think that we're necessarily on the same page on that, and I would want him to address you, Chair, and then we will address you in answer to what may be a postponement application, which we will oppose as the evidence leaders.
Thank you, Ms. Sigels. Mr. Adam?
Thank you, Chairperson. And again, I apologize for the late submission. Chairperson, there is a little bit, not a whole lot of evidence that came through in the bundle. And as I've indicated to the Commission, because of the time that I left Cape Town to be here timeously and well prepared, I only received that information late yesterday. Well, not late yesterday, it was late morning rather. And my entire network is in Cape Town. My attorney is there, my researchers there, my documentation is there. And I'm not trying to slow down the process, Chairperson. As you know, I'm here as a willing witness. But my attorney has advised me to rather speak to him before I make and ask if we can make a late submission on that, rather than respond to that right here, right now. If that pleases the
Yeah, I think the antecedent question is this. Is it correct, as Ms. Sigels says, that these documents are your own documents and that all that the evidence leaders did was just to collate the documents and to send them back to you?
If I can just clear that confusion, Chairperson.
Yes.
Remember the first batch of documents came in at 12 p.m. on Monday, and then the second 12 a.m. on Monday, sorry. The second batch of documents came in at 1:30. So as they were all sent to me at more or less the same time. So the first document I opened was from the Commission. So I assumed that everything was from the Commission, and I sent it off to my attorney, and he said to me, we need to consult before you talk on this. So that is why I'm saying, Chairperson, just because of, it's not a lot. I've actually gone through it, but there are certain aspects that I would, if the Commission allows, prefer to consult with my attorney first.
I want to understand what is at issue now. Is it your own documents or not?
I'm not concerned about my documents, Chairperson. Those are mine. I'm talking about the few other additions that came from the Commission.
And you say those came when?
Well, I received them all at about somewhere between 12 and 1:30 because they were coming in bit by bit because of the size of the files.
When was this?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. How many pages?
Well, in all, if you take my documents out, I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head. It's like, what are they, Advocate Lee? It's not a very lot, but like I say, my attorney has advised that we should speak first. So I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, Judge. I'm asking for guidance here.
But I would imagine your lawyer must understand that with something like this, there are certain pressures, and the lawyer cannot just relax and say, ask for a postponement, and I want to consult with you. The upshot of which is that we should then postpone. That cannot be had merely for the asking.
There is no argument from my side, Justice. I'm asking, this is a request, that's all.
Let me finish. Especially if, as you say, the documents are not much at all. So the attorney could not just relax and say, just ask for a postponement, I want to consult with you. But let me hear, are you finished with your submissions in this?
I am,
Yes, yes, Ms.
Chair, may I just address you on the documents that the commission submitted to Mr. Adams
Yes.
on Monday, so that you can see that what we've given Mr. Adams are extracts from the 9 what we call IDAC exhibit bundles. And we did that because we don't need to deal with all 9 files with Mr. Adams. His evidence is limited to his involvement in these IDAC matters. And maybe it would be best if I do that with reference to the index, the consolidated index, just to demonstrate to the commissioners that what we've provided Mr. Adams is really nothing new, and to the extent that there is anything new, it is something that he can deal with because it relates to his A1 statements that he prepared in the various criminal complaints that he lodged regarding these IDAC matters. So, Chair, what we did was we created a core bundle. Most of it is contained in what you now have is file 9B. And the additional documents, I want to start with the index.
okay. Yeah, I'm with you.
Do the commissioners have the consolidated index? So, Chair, on page 2 is item 33, which we've added to the core bundle. That is Mr. Adams' section 27 affidavit, which has been prominent in these proceedings. That is what we included in the core bundle. And then item 37 and 38, but only pages 681 to 684 of item 37, which is Mr. Adams' A1 statement in that docket. And you'll see that 37 is quite voluminous, but we've only extracted from that his statement, 681 to 684. Item 38, which is also just his statement.
Sorry, the limit in the page number 681 to 68 what?
To 684, so it's 4 pages, Chair.
Was there a way in which Mr. Adams would have been aware of the cutoff point, the 684?
It was just the A1 statements, so we just provided him with the A1 statements which are relevant to his evidence.
All right, okay.
Sorry, Ms. Ngube, does it mean the rest of, and that applies to everything that you're referring to, does it mean the rest of that item 37 came from him?
37 is our IDAC original exhibit bundles that we've been utilizing throughout the IDAC stream. All that we did was we extracted pages 681 to 684 because it's his A1 statement in that exhibit, and we wanted to address that statement with him only, not the remainder of the docket. And that is what we extracted for purposes of him knowing what it is that we're going to deal with. Rather than give him 4,000 pages, most of which are irrelevant for his evidence, we only gave him what would be necessary for his evidence. And that is, so the page 681 to 684 is his A1 statement in that case number, and 38 the same, it's 2611 to 2614 of that bundle. And then on page, item 71 to 78, those are also all A1 statements. 71, 72, and 73 are Mr. Adams' A1 statements, which were given to him. And then 74, 75, 76, 77, and 78, those up to 77 are the supplementary affidavits, you will recall, that was commissioned in Cape Town on the 6th of January, 2025. Those were included there. And then item 78, which is the Langlaagte case docket.
Each one of which is a very short.
Very short, Chair. You can see from the page numbers, it's 2 pages each. I think there's one that's 3 pages. And then item 78 is Langlaagte documents relating to the Langlaagte matter, which is the forklift matter, which also Mr. Adams would be aware of that. That's what we included in the bundle. Then item 80 Item 80 would be a new document, but it is the section 28, 6 or 7 subpoena, 6 and 7 summons that was issued by under Advocate Johnson's name, although she was not the signatory of that document. I think it was Advocate Manilal, where you will recall, Chair, it was a summons that was served on the Acting National Commissioner in May 2026, asking for the details of the members of the PKTT that had executed Mr. Adams' arrest. So that was included because Mr. Adams takes umbrage regarding his arrest, and this document would then be relevant as to his arrest and whether information was requested regarding the arresting members, the members that arrested him. So that would be a new document for him. But you will see, Chair, it's not a lengthy document, and it really is only to find out to what extent he knows or has any knowledge regarding that process. Then item 84, Chair, it's a SAPS report. This relates to Mr. Adams' dockets. You will recall that he had indicated he had lodged complaints when it appeared to him that his dockets had been intercepted. So those reports, although it may be a new document for him, although I don't think that it is a new document that he would have seen, but it's certainly something that we provided to him, that not that he provided it to us, but it relates to his cases and the reports that were submitted by various SAPS entities regarding his criminal complaints.
And how many pages? On the index, it looks like a lot.
It contains, Commissioner Baloy, it also
The chair says 66 pages.
Yes, but it contains his affidavits as well, his A1 statements. So the report itself is about 12 pages, and from there we have his A1 statements as well, because you can't read the report without the A1 statements. We'll flight it so that you can see that the majority of that document is actually his A1 statements. And importantly, what's also contained in there is the A1 statements that were signed on the 6th of January 2025, which we want to ask Mr. Adams about, which Mr. Perumal had, the Perumal affidavits versus the Mr. Rapesu affidavits that we want to ask him about. And then in file 10-2, there are just, it's one document, which is the letter from the Inspector General to Minister Mkhunu that we had dealt with Advocate Ramsamy. It was the letter where the IGI was submitting the report to the then Minister of Police. And that is really just a document that we want to ask Mr. Adams if he's aware of that report, because he does make certain allegations about him requesting the report and not receiving a response. And then in file 10-1, Chair, it's item 12, which is a docket summary report by Advocate Ramsamy. She did take us through that report where she had taken the Orlando dockets that Mr. Adams had opened and given her assessment of those documents. That becomes relevant because Mr. Adams suggests that Ms. Ramsamy didn't have the same view about the merits of his case. In his statement, he says she had a different view about the merits of his case. So we've added that summary, that report there. And those are, and then it's what is contained in file 9B, Chair, which, if I could just take you back to the main index.
Where are we going now?
It's number 85 on the main index. It's an extract of the statement of witness G. And you will see there's only one aspect that relates to Mr. Adams, and it is the opening of his cases in Orlando. It's one paragraph of that statement which we've submitted. Then there is CJC 399D, email correspondence. This just again relates to witness G and the relationship between witness G and General Khan. And then item 87 is a document that Mr. Adams referred to, which we've sourced and attached, which is a national instruction on media communication within SAPS. Mr. Adams questions General Mkwanazi's authority to have called the press conference of 6 July 2025, and he references this national instruction as being, I think what he's suggesting is that General Mkwanazi did not comply with this national instruction. So he will have to tell us what aspect of the national instruction he wants to refer us to. We've just provided the document. Then finally, the next item, which is also 87, that must be corrected, is MK 15 and MK 16, which is really a repeat of what is contained at item 84, which is again just reports about the statements of Mr. Adams, his cases, and what SAPS did to investigate his cases. He would be familiar with that. And then finally, 88 is just his transcript from the ad hoc committee, his evidence that or his testimony at the ad hoc committee, which we've attached, and that's about 64 pages. But again, there'll be limited usage of it when necessary. So that is what was provided to him on Monday. And as you will see, Chair, the majority of it are his A1 statements, affidavits that he submitted. And we say that on that basis, there would be no need for him to consult with his attorneys on that. He's well aware of the statements that he's made. But insofar as there are documents that, for example, the information note that deals with investigations or reports that were made, he may want to consider that. I don't think that we'll necessarily get to that today. He can certainly take the afternoon to go through that. It doesn't really involve him because it's SAPS reporting to SAPS about what was done to investigate the claims that was made by Mr. Adams.
So you referred to this afternoon, did you mean overnight?
Overnight, Chair, yes.
Overnight.
When we adjourn for the day, yes.
All right. Is that not fair enough, Mr. Adams?
Chairperson, it would be if my attorney was here. Unfortunately, I can't afford to fly and house him here. So it puts me at a slight prejudice, but let me see what I can do because I want this thing to get over with. So.
Yeah, you see, what I understand from Ms. Strigels-Ncube is that what happens today will not get to the documents which are not your documents, and that overnight that should afford you ample opportunity to then consult with your attorney. The other documents are, as Ms. Strigels-Ncube says, your own.